It's alright. It's alright.
This is white.
No, five, sorry.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hey, everybody, give me some love. Come on, man. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for coming out on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. My name is Gene Pritzker. This is Dan Cooper. For those of you who don't know, we run the organization called Concordance. We are in our 41st season, so it's been going around for 41 years. Yeah, we have in the audience the Linda Pearson, whose late husband started this organization. Linda, take a bow, please. There you go. Oh, yeah, hold on. So, and for those of you who don't know, we present about 50 concerts a year. This is one of them. And today's concert,
Is that one concert per week?
it's about one, like this week we had 2 concerts. We just had one on Friday. And then this is the first concert of a 5-concert festival called Motion. So all concerts are about the theme of motion. Talk about the next one.
Yes. Folks, on the back of your program, we want to call your attention to our next event, which is on Friday. And it's our CompCord Little Big Band. Cool name, right? And we'll be performing Swing and Lindy Hop over at Loft 393. That's like Canal and Broadway. So. Great location, and we're going to bring amazing jazz musicians together with dancing performers, the theme of the festival being motion. Today here, we're so grateful to be back at St. Mark's Church, and we're able to combine these different performing elements together with the amazing chamber musicians. We'll be seeing some martial arts and jugglers and mimes, and don't want to give it all away, but some of this stuff what's in store today. Also want to mention one of our associate directors over here. This is Milica Paranozic.
Let's see. So duo motion. So the whole idea of this concert, the reason it's called duo motion, is we have 4 duos. There's a duo of trumpet and piano and guitar and piano. That's on this side. There's a duo of Milica and Angela Babin, which is electric guitar and computers and singing. And I'm not even sure. There's 2 of them, but there's a lot of stuff coming out of there. And then there's another duo of oboe and clarinet, which is Michio Suzuki and Keith Wilson. They're over there, and that's their corner. So we have the 3 duos, and we're gonna go in.
He's pointing over there, and there's no one standing there.
She's sitting there. I see them. So we're gonna go in tandem. Follow your program, and most of the duos, not all of them, will have some kind of a motion aspect to it.
A lot of the composers are here as part of the show and in the audience today, so the composers will come up to share a few words about their piece, their process before it's played. We want to thank all of you for attending and all these amazing musicians and composers for all the time and talent they devoted to this first of our Motion Festival concerts.
Yes.
And
You're the first composer.
yeah, now this doesn't happen very often, but my own piece is first up. So we would like to bring to the stage, this is Keith Wilson and Michio Suzuki. They're going to be joined by Michael juggling a little bit. You see the title? This one's a premiere. Sometimes I think of a funny phrase, from watching the news or something, and I add it to a little list of titles. I'll write it someday. There's been all this news about the tariff wars, yeah? So it occurred to me, what about tariff war riffs? Like riffs in the music. So I went to Google, as we all do. And I typed it in, and really nothing came up yet. So I thought, I gotta write this one quickly and get this on a program. And then I saw, okay, Michio and Keith are performing. I'll put something together with an electronic track. Hopefully I won't blast it too loud through the amp there. I hope you enjoy. This is the premiere of Tariff War Riffs.
Michael Karras, juggler. Michio Suzuki, cornet. Keith Wilson, oboe. Dan Cooper, composer. What? Nice. Chamber music and juggling. It just makes sense to me. I don't know why. For our next piece, I wrote a piece called Do Emotion, like this concert. And I would like to invite on stage Jeffrey Burleson, pianist extraordinaire. We will also be joined by a mime whose name is, I want to pronounce it right, so Adam Auslander. He said I pronounced it pretty good. I'm not sure what Adam's gonna do, but you guys will, I'll be too busy doing my thing. Playing this guitar that has no frets. So I'll be, it's kind of like playing a violin. It's a new thing I'm trying out. So there's a lot of microtones. Between two notes, there's like 3 other notes. It's quite weird. So I'm not playing out of tune. Alright, I am playing out of tune. It's supposed to be this. Thank you. Oh, dude. I wish I saw what you did. Jeffrey Burleson on piano. And Adam Auslander, thank you. He'll be back. Adam's gonna do something else later. We'll see what. We're gonna turn our attention now to Milica Paranosic and Angela Babbitt. Babin. I called you Babbitt, like the composer. What's his name? Babbitt, yeah. Millie, you want to say something about your piece? Well, I said.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you can hear.
Great. Because if I turn my mic on, everything will change. And that's coming, but not just yet. So we're going to do a piece called Emotion, I think I called it. And that's because I'm using a sensor that's a motion sensor. Movement and emotions are closely related. So the sensor to me is kind of interpreting my movement into the emotions that I'm feeling. The piece itself was supposed to be something completely different. And then one day I was like, actually, I want to do a bird piece. I had no idea why I wanted to do a bird piece. But I'm like, I'm changing everything. I'm going to do a bird piece. And then I started working on that one. And the day after I made that change, there was a bird that flew into my apartment. And then the mama bird came in. And then the papa bird came in. And the whole weekend was about the rescue mission, about the wilderness at the Palestine Chambers. And so that became the piece. The piece is going to use two traditions that are married, even though they've never married in real life. They are Serbian and Brazilian. I'm using a Brazilian beat from capoeira, and I'm using Serbian singing from Serbia about the birds. And that's all I have to say about that. Let's do it. Hop. Check, check. See?
Millie and Angela. Yes. I like it. That was some good motion. Do emotion. That was really do emotion. You guys were both moving. That was good. So for our next piece, I had a break dancer, but he never made it. Maybe he broke somewhere. Maybe. Oh, you like that? Okay. So, but I'd like to invite our performers. We have Omar Kabir on trumpet and Samuel Lerner on piano. Come on up, guys. And they're gonna play a piece by Oscar Pettiford, who is a great bass player, right? Wasn't Oscar Pettiford? But yeah, I didn't even know that he wrote. But I have a feeling Omar is gonna tell us much more.
Thank you, Gene. Oscar Pettiford is actually known as one of the earliest bebop musicians. He was a bass player. Unfortunately, he was short-lived. He died at the age of 38 of a strange disease that was closely related to polio. But in his short career, I mean, there's so many tragic jazz lives and stories. But in his career, he accomplished a lot. He was a band leader. He was also an innovator of the jazz cello, because bass players get tired of just being in the background, and you know. So he started soloing on the cello. And in one of his gigs, I think Sam knows the story a little better, but there was something about the saxophone player, and he couldn't quite do the job, or he didn't show up, or something. And Cannonball Adderley was there, and kind of tricked his way on the stage, but he played so well that Oscar Pettiford was very impressed with him. Cannonball Adderley went on to make this song very famous, which is why Gene thought that Cannonball Adderley wrote this song, and now you have the whole story. I am actually a break dancer, so you get it all in one.
Oh, he wasn't kidding about the breakdancing thing. Man, I gotta pay him double now. I'd like to invite on stage back Jeffrey Burleson. Oh, there he is. Hi, Jeffrey. So, I did a tour of Costa Rica this March, I think was in March, and I met a composer there. His name is Marvin Camacho. Camacho. And Marvin was really great. He took us all around. He presented us in a couple of places, and he was really the man there. So he wrote this piece, and we played this piece with my friend Seth Bousted, and it was with electronics and all this stuff. But this is the original version he wrote, which was just with narrator, piano, and a guitar. And Charles Coleman is going to narrate, and it's yeah, give him some applause, give him some love. And it's a poem by Walt Whitman.
Very, very wordy poet, but distinctively wordy. Yeah. And I'll look to you when I'm done with it.
So, Jeffrey, you inside that piano? The motion of being inside the piano?
Not heat flames up and consumes, not sea waves hurry in and out, not the air delicious and dry, the air of ripe summer, bears lightly along white down balls of myriads of seeds. Smiling gracefully to drop where they may. Not these, oh none of these more than the flames of me, consuming, burning for his love, whom I love. Oh, none more than I, hurrying in and out, does the tide hurry, seeking something and never give up. Oh, I the same, oh, nor down balls, nor perfumes, nor the high rain-emitting clouds are born through the open air, any more than my soul is born through the open air, wafted in all directions, oh love, for friendship, for you. Burning for his love, whom I love.
So our next piece is by Gabe Henkin, and Gabe is here, and he wrote it for Kiev and Mitchell. And talk a little about your piece, Gabe. Gabe Henkin, everybody.
Thank you. I'm Gabe. I'm a clarinetist, mostly a performer in the city, and I've recently started composing more. And a few months ago, Kiev sent me a message asking, hey, do you have any pieces for bass clarinet and oboe? And I said, of course not, who writes for that instrumentation? But I was happy to write a piece for them. And a couple of weeks later, I put together something that was a draft of a bass clarinet and oboe acoustic piece. And then I got another email saying, we're going to pre-record the bass clarinet part and do Tai Chi and all sorts of cool things to it. And I thought, well, I might as well write a whole electronic backing track to go with the piece, since there's going to be an electronic element to it. And I think something much bigger than I was originally intending came out of this. So hopefully it sounds great, and let's see how it goes.
Michio, and Keith. So Michio recorded that bass cornet part. That was a hard part. And she was doing, that was Tai Chi or karate? I forget. Oh, that was Tai Chi. Oh. Now the duo of Samuel and Omar, and you guys will, they want to talk.
So the composer of this piece and I have a distinct relationship in that we went to college together at the Manhattan School of Music. College is a very special time. I actually have a schoolography. There's so many schools I went to. It's kind of incredible. But of course, there's many crazy stories about me in my college days, and I was quite a cut up. And sometimes people come up to me and tell me a story, and I say, wow, I don't remember that, but that definitely sounds like me. Now, Charles is here to actually affirm any of these stories. I guess most notably, my senior recital, I had so many interests. I did something at Manhattan School of Music, which probably still nobody's has done to this day. I was in 10 ensembles every single semester I attended the school. That goes from contemporary classical to jazz. And so when it came time to book my senior recital, I didn't know what to do. And when I went to the booking office, they had 2 back-to-back on one day. So I ran the concerts together. It was an 8-hour concert called the O Marathon. And we had 27 pieces, 7 world premieres, and 80 performers. And Charles was there?
It happened.
I'm sure Charles would like to say something about this piece.
So this piece, Distant Beacon, was written in honor of a dear friend of mine named Juan Del Bosco, who is a tenor who I've performed with many times in various restaurants, a likable guy with a wonderful voice, and like any other beacon, which for those who don't know is basically is a small but bright light in an otherwise big atmosphere of darkness, like whether it be a lantern in the dark sea or the moon in the sky. Juan Del Bosco was very much that beacon for me, and thus I had to write this in his honor. Thank you.
I've been given an impossible to read manuscript. So as I take this apart, the title actually has incredible significance to me. My grandfather was a poet and philosopher, wrote 120 books in India, and we have a family property that is named Beacon. It is in Gopalpur, which I call Cape Hatteras, India, basically, and it has significant family history. And I found out over the weekend, after my aunt's passing, that I am now the prime owner of this property. So it's distant, and I hope to see it one day.
Thank you, Charles. Juan was also a friend of mine and a lot of people here, so it was a big loss this year. And yeah, that was beautiful. Thanks, man. We'd like to invite on stage Angela Babin, and she has a piece with Nulitsa. Angela, will you tell us something? I'll plug in your guitar if you like.
No, I don't need my guitar plugged in. So I'm not going to actually play on this, although I played on the backing track. So I was inspired by the concept of this this concert series, Duo Motion, to think about what duos are there in martial arts, which is the movement that I like. And as it turns out, there's a big interface. So Bodhidharma, in the year around 600, made a pilgrimage to, he was a Buddhist abbot, he made pilgrimage to all sorts of temples and observed and visited and saw. And when he came to the Shaolin Temple on the Okinawan Islands, he found that actually the temple was under siege, the food was being stolen, important relics and artifacts of the temple were always being robbed, and he was like, wait a second, you need to take care of your body as well as your mind. So he taught some calisthenics, which were yoga, and he taught some self-defense moves, which was martial arts. And that, the Shaolin Temple in Okinawa, became kind of one of the real hotbeds, the hotspots for many Asian martial arts, including ones from the Kung Fu tradition, from Japan tradition, from Korean tradition. So many have their birthplace in Shaolin, and therefore their birthplace with Bodhidharma Yoga.
Angela and Millie. Whoa. Angela Babin's piece. Actually, the piece was called Cata Melodica. I like that. It's kind of cool. Our next composer is Ginka Mizuki, who is, well, she's here and she's not here. She shares the same blood as Michio Suzuki, but they're not the same person. They live in the same head, apparently. But maybe, does Ginka want to talk about her piece, Chicken and Noodle? This is making me hungry.
Chicken and noodle, there are my daughter, Beyond's cat. And somehow she left them with me, and now I'm taking care of them. And this piece is just showing you my life got totally upside down by them, and you can see that. And anyway, my daughter Beyond gonna explain about what happened with those two cats.
It was a cold February afternoon in Binghamton. Two tiny kitten sisters were left all alone on a rooftop under my window. The cat distribution system had finally gotten to me, and I guess I had to take them in. I took my roommate's slightly expired rotisserie chicken to lure them in, and one brave kitten dashed over and started eating it out of my hand. Her shy sister took a little convincing, but I was able to pick them both up and pass them up to my roommate reaching out of the window. That's how they got their names, Chicken and Noodle. Why Noodle? Why not? Chicken has long fluffy fur and struts like a princess, always thinking before she acts, though she did eat food out of a stranger's hand with no hesitation. Noodle's fur is short and sleek and walks like a mini leopard, zooming around and jumping everywhere. Chicken is picky. She only likes chicken, eggs, or treats, and if it's not her favorite, she'd rather starve. Noodle loves fish, but will eat absolutely anything at any given time, even weird stuff like Japanese sweets or soap. Chicken is calm, keeping an eye on her weird sister. Noodle loves attention and zooms around like she owns the place, and Chicken will give her an annoyed but tolerant look to settle her down. The two live life their way. Chicken grooms herself and chases her tail like she's dancing. Noodle races after bugs, bouncing all over the place. For them, time just flows, slow and happy. This oboe and clarinet duet is their story, two instruments playing together, sometimes fancy, sometimes silly, but always full of catitude.
Chicken Gamazuki performed by Mitsu and Key. Chicken and noodle. Get both of them. I'd like to invite on stage Jeffrey Burleson, and he's going to talk a little bit about his piece, Cryptic Locomotion.
Thank you all so much. So when Gene asked me to contribute something to this program and told me the concept and that it was called duo motion, I immediately thought of my piece, Cryptic Locomotion. What better conceptually could I provide to this program? The term itself comes from animal behavior, and it's a term I encountered in some zoo at some point in the distant past, but it refers to the mysterious and very slow modes of motion that some simian creatures engage in that are nocturnal. So it's a scientific term, basically. But I just love what it suggested, what the term cryptic locomotion actually suggested musically. And so I started off with something, as you will hear in the outer ends of this, very kind of slow and stealthy and mysterious and maybe a bit sinister. But in the original version of this tune, which I actually wrote for CompCord a few years ago, it was a sextet version, and this gentleman played on it and did a really mean beer bottleneck guitar solo on it. Now you've got the fretless, so you don't even need the implement to make that work. And the great David Cosson also played on it, which is why I wanted to make it something of a conga feature as well, and that will help to explain the middle section of the piece. And that's all I'll say. Thank you so much.
This will feature Mitsuyo Suzuki as Karate. She's almost ready. She's almost ready. for our big finale, I'd like to invite all the remaining motion people who are here and who are in motion and keep being in motion over Omar and Samuel playing Maria Cervantes by Noro Morales. So motion people, come out. And if anybody else in the audience wants to come out and dance and do some motion, don't. These are professionals. I'm playing. Come out. Please, please. It's open.
This is my first time doing one of these. This is fantastic. We've got so many areas of music and art represented. We've got winds, brass, piano, fretless guitar, regular guitar, motion, fantastic oboe and clarinet, and electronics in this wonderful space. There's a famous Borodan quote, you know, all the composers wrote for, were sponsored by rich kings and so forth. So there was a king who was very disappointed with a Borodan piece, and he came and he said, "There wasn't enough trumpets." And Borodan replied, "The trumpet is far too holy to be overused." So it's always a pleasure to play in one of these great spaces. Wonderful what St. Mark's does for the community here, and it's just great to play here.
discuss things.